Okay, so we're just looking at how to code with the Pico kit products, and this is an example just of a breadboard that we're using. So just a little microchip from Microchip Technology. We're using the batteryless header, but this batteryless header means you don't need anything else connected to the breadboard. And we do these special wisher breadboards. As you can see, I've got a stack of components on here because each of the wisher breadboards has these columns. And I haven't seen any other breadboards like this, but this one in particular has 8 columns of rows of 5. And that means that you can jump from one section to the next. They're not all joined, and it's really quite orderly in that you've got the horizontal in groups. So you can space things, and you can see on this one, I've used 2 of these columns basically for the microchip. And then the way I've laid out these dice, I've got 1 column for those 2, 1 column for those 3, another column over there. So it's worked out really quite well. 3 columns for each of the 6 LEDs. And then I've tagged on the buzzer just on the rails at the bottom. So that's almost like another section to itself. And so all the power comes through here. It's connected by 2 wires just to code the microchip. And then basically you can write your code in 3 different types of software, well, and any software really that compiles to a hex file. So we've designed the PicoFlow Alpha software for schools that is icon driven, and obviously this is microchip technology, so you can use the Mplab X or the it's a baseline microchip. So Mplab X will do your assembly code and it will do your C code, and it can actually do both of those together at the same time even. Okay, so you can see this is the PicoFlow Alpha software, and we can drag and drop the icons or the alpha tools onto the work area. We can double click them, we can change their settings, and importantly, you'll see it actually updates the code below. So we can learn all about the assembly coding through the PicoFlow Alpha software without actually learning to read or write in the first place. So in that, it's really good that you can write your code, and you can chain all of these tools together however you want to do it. If you want to turn some LEDs on and off, you know, you might go and do code like this. But in the end, what does that actually do for your microchip? Well, we can see the code preview just in there in each of the tools, but you can also go to the assembly tab and it shows you all of the code. Not only can you see all the code there, but you can actually export the code as text, and you can open it up in the Mplab X software. But for the moment, if you just want to code in PicoFlow Alpha, you just hit the Program tab, and that will write the code direct to your device, and you've done all the coding that you need. You can go through the video lessons that we have online and program each one of those direct to your breadboard or direct to your kit, and away you go. But if you want to get into written coding, then Mplab X is certainly a great choice. This is the Mplab X software from Microchip Technology, and in here you can write in assembly or C. And one of the easiest ways to get into writing code, if you don't know C, it's not always the best place to start. You can learn from assembly, but C is the industrial software, so that's a really good one to get into. Of course, assembly is the basic software that's used at the ground level of a microchip. So let's have a look at that. We can do a new project under File. We can choose a standalone project, that's fine. Go next. Now the family that I'm going to use is a baseline 8-bit, but of course you could be programming advanced 8-bits as well with some of the PicoKit products. So let's go down and have a look. So I'm just going to use a 12F508 and click on Next. Now I'm not going to use a debug header with this. I'm actually going to just use a simulator just to generate the hex file. And in this you can write in XC8 if that's the compiler that you want to use, or you can write in assembly, MPASM. And so I'm going to choose the latest of the MPASM. I'm just going to call it PicoFlow Alpha Test and set as the main project. It's going to put it in my documents folder. That's fine for the moment. And you'll see it's created the test file. It hasn't got any files in there at the moment, source files or header files. And so that's fine. I'm just going to create a header file. So I can go other, and if I do a new file, I'm just going to do an assembly file and .asm. I'll just click next. I can give it a name, PicoMood. It's going to generate the PicoMood.asm in the project that I've created. So finish, and you'll see it's got my PicoMood ASM. Now I can actually paste in my code. So I have to find that code. To my lessons, there's my test file that I generated before. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and I'm going to put that into my project here, Control V. And you'll see that's already laid out the project, and it's got it all there, ready to build it and create it, and even modify the code if I need to. So that's one way to get into coding. If you've never done coding before, it can generate all of the code for you in assembly. The other way, you can create a C project. So you just go new project. We choose standalone project. We choose the same, obviously, the microcontroller that you're going to be using. So there's a 12F508. We can go next. We can choose that same simulator. And this time you would choose the XC8 if you're going to write in C. PicoMood test project. That's fine. Click on finish. And so we've got another project down here. If we're going to go and edit that and create source files or header files, you can do it the same way. Add existing items, or you can create new items. Now, if we do a header, XC8 header, and we go finish, that's created my header file. I can dump that in the header folder. You'll see that's put in a few things. It's including the XCH file. It's got if defined C++. We can go to source files. We can go new, and we can do a C source file or main.c. There's our main.c, and it's going to put it in the same folder. Okay, and there's our include XCH in there also. And that's basically where you would start writing your C program. So like I said, you can then from that hex file, you can load that onto your software, and you'd be doing that using the PicoFlow Lite. Okay, so I'll go through that in another video, but that's just a small intro on how to code your projects using PicoFlow Alpha, Mplab X for assembly, or Mplab X for C coding. Thanks for watching. So there's lots of options there. Even our PicoFlow Alpha, we designed that icon software to natively code into assembly, so you can learn the assembly language without even knowing it from a standing point. It automatically updates and shows you what the code is being written that goes onto this microchip. So that's a nice way to get into it. Assembly is like your foundation level of coding. C is a higher level of coding, which is easier to get things done if you know C. That's a great way to get into using the PicoKit products too. But this is our new dual dice, and it's got a buzzer on board. We've got this manufactured and ready to sell at the moment. So yeah, if you want to code any of the PicoKit products, then certainly this is a great way to get started. You can get in a kit that's got the components, and instead of going and soldering it straight to the breadboard, you can follow some of our tutorials to work out how each of these components works and program them natively, and yeah, have a lot of fun learning about electronics, microcontrollers, and even circuit boards, how they all work. Sorry about that. So yeah, I hope you have a great time learning to code. So that's, you know, a great thing that you can take the components and you can plug them into a breadboard and start learning about the electronics, the microcontrollers, and coding all at the same time without even soldering anything together. So it really is an educational kit to help you learn coding, but at the same time you can learn circuit design, and we do the DipTrace software as well. So if you need a complete solution for your school to get into coding and circuit design, certainly give us a call, and I'd be happy to talk to you about the solution that we can offer you. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.